And then everyone said Jabroni.
Jabroni, Jabroni, Oh, it doesn't matter, you spell jabroni.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to a new episode of Two Jabronis with the Wrestling Podcast, the Patreon edition, otherwise known as the Rock and Talk Connection. BJ Cruz here with my tag team partner, the man who I would never pick to play me in a TV show about my life, the incomparable Jeremy Los. Jay, what is up, my dude?
Why not? Why not?
I know this is an audio-only medium. We don't really look the same.
That's true. Yeah, that is a fair criticism.
It'd be a Scarlett Johansson situation.
Though, to be fair, like some of these people in this show don't really look like the characters that they're portraying. I know that they really tried, but I'm like, come on, man.
We'll get into that. I have some thoughts. I have very, very many.
Like the Sheik character looked like fucking jacked up. Like I know, like Sheik at some point in his life was kind of ripped, but this guy looked like he was just like he was fit, toned, 205. And I just don't know if Sheik was ever
He was too ripped. We'll dive into that. We'll get into that. I thank you again for subscribing to the Patreon. If you don't mind, tell a friend to hop on, especially if they love them some Young Rock, because we're about to talk some Young Rock today. And you can't see Jeremy's face, but there's so much chagrin on it. It could be.
I'm gonna say I'm almost at a loss for words watching this show. I was struggling.
Look. Well, okay. Look, we're just gonna dive right into it. So, crack open some Terramana, raise that people's eyebrow, turn up the volume, and turn that podcast listening device sideways, and let's stick this rock moment straight up into your cerebrum. Today, we are talking the debut episode of the NBC series, recapping The Rock's entire life, Young Rock. Wow. I've been excited about this show, probably irrationally, just because it's something that The Rock is doing, and I'm unabashedly a Rock stan. You know that, the world knows that, and but you know, I kind of understood the skepticism heading into it. It's like it's a show about a dude that we kind of see every day on Instagram, right? And you're like, I kind of know what your life is like. Anyway, let's recap episode 1. We get thrust into, I believe, is 2032, so like 11 years from now. Randall Park, who is
Jimmy Woo, my guy.
Jimmy Woo is. I love that guy, by the way. He's doing some sort of 2020 series type interview with the now presidential candidate, The Rock, which is interesting that they brought that into the show, given that there was for a while like a real life push online for The Rock to run for president. So
I mean, I want to say it was like 2018 where people were like, The Rock 2020 needs to happen.
Yeah. We were in the midst of just some weird shit. So we're like, it would be good. The Rock. And like his Q rating is just through the roof.
In like from like 2016 through now, we've lived in like an alternate reality where like weird shit just happens on the regular, and The Rock as a presidential candidate seemed like a likelihood.
Yeah.
So yeah, seeing this as like the future in 20. Also, do you notice that his bus was like a moving billboard? It was really weird.
Moving, yeah.
And like
they also had. Did you see the lady with the clear iPad in public?
Yes. Do you remember? You watch Parks and Rec, right?
No, I'm not a Parks and Rec.
Okay,
person.
So in Parks and Rec, they have essentially like a clear iPad, and it's the same look and feel. Like it just looks like a futuristic iPad. It's really ridiculous. I don't know. Okay. I don't know why I feel this way, but like Rock as himself almost doesn't feel genuine. And it just really comes across like, I know that he's trying to play, like, he's just trying to be himself as like this presidential candidate, but it just comes off as really forced and awkward.
It's
and
interesting to play like a future version of yourself. And I don't know, maybe I think it was forced, but you almost have to be, right? As a presidential candidate, I feel like those interviews are always forced. Like their answers are always structured. They're always kind of proper. And he's trying to break away. I don't know. He mentions that in the episode. He's not trying to be. He's trying to be real or whatever the verbiage that he used was. But I see what you're saying. It was.
I just don't know. Like, and I love The Rock. Don't get me wrong. This show is about us loving The Rock, and I love The Rock. But I don't know. Like, even on social, like in like social media in real life, like he just comes across kind of like there is a facade, and I know that he's a fucking multi-millionaire, so he has a reputation and a business to uphold. But like, even and then this show just kind of takes it up a notch, where it just comes across like he is in a really bad like college movie, where it nothing seemed genuine. Even like the back and forth with Randall Park's character, I'm like, what am I watching? It felt like a bad SNL skit.
So let's. I definitely want to touch on that because there were parts of it that I liked and parts of it that I did not like, and I'll talk about that in the best and worst parts of the show. But so with The Rock running for president in 2032, the way we get back to looking at the rest of his life is through flashbacks, right? So we get flashbacked to him ringside with his mom, watching his dad wrestle. And then from there, they go to, I believe it's someone's mom's house.
Yeah, they go to her mom's house,
and all the wrestlers are there. Right.
Right.
That's where Sheik is. That's where Andre the Giant, Junkyard Dog is there, and just kind of showing us that The Rock knows these people. Let's talk. You touched about on Iron Sheik when we started the show. I thought the worst of all of them was their pick for Andre the Giant. Whatever accent he's doing was not even close to anything of how Andre the Giant actually sounded. Like, he was trying to do a French accent, but if you hear Andre actually talk, like in the Andre doc or in like Princess Bride, he actually doesn't really, I feel like his French accent isn't that strong. Like, it's not like a Pepe Le Pew, you know what I mean? Like it's this one sounded so cartoonish and nothing close to it. So that bothered me more honestly than the Sheik thing.
Yeah, and also you could tell that the guy, I mean, it's difficult to find somebody the size of Andre the Giant, but like it's funny because like you can tell that they know that the guy is anywhere close to where Andre was, and every time they shot him, they're from the bottom to look up, so that it looks taller than he actually is. He wasn't very good. Like I said before, the Sheik character, he just looked a little bit too fit to be Sheik. I was just waiting for them to drop Jabroni there, because that was the perfect opportunity for Sheik to say Jabroni, and then that could have like tied in the fact that like The Rock always said Jabroni, but they didn't do it. Junkyard Dog looked a little thicker than I would imagine, but I mean, it was that whole segment with young Rock was interesting because it made Rocky Johnson kind of look bad, like as an absent father. And I know that like it's difficult to be a father who's there all the time, wants to spend time with his son when you are in the wrestling business. I'm sure there's a lot of things that go on behind the scenes, but like I think that was a more like honest part of the show to me, is like they weren't afraid to highlight like there may be some things here that not a lot of people know. Like maybe like Rocky Johnson probably wasn't like always there for his son, wasn't always there to like take his son out for ice cream, So like I love the maybe not the authenticity is the wrong word there, but like the fact that they're not afraid to maybe show a dark side or a less than stellar side of The Rock's life. Yeah,
and I mean, I think The Rock has alluded to that their relationship was complicated a little bit, even throughout this time, but even as he progressed in his career, and obviously I think they ended on rest in peace, Rocky Johnson. But I think they kind of ended on better terms. But even at when that clip of The Rock speaking at his dad's funeral, like this is in real life. I mean, you can kind of tell there was some distance between them. Whether that stemmed from the past of looking at their childhood or Rock's childhood or whatnot. So it was definitely an interesting look because you're right. It didn't paint Rocky Johnson out to be, the perfect sitcom type of dad, right? And I think that brought some realism to it. So after the apartment scene, The Rock and his mom end up leaving. Rock's dad goes out for drinks with the boys, and then it shoots to a little later in The Rock's life. They go straight to high school. They go pretty pretty quick.
That was something that I was kind of taken aback on. Like, I thought we were going to see like young baby Rock for an extended period of time, and then it was just going to transition, like go chronologically. I didn't realize that every episode is going to jump from point A, or from elementary school Rock to high school Rock to college Rock. That kind of caught me off guard.
It's interesting you talk about that because I was trying to figure out like what the show reminded me of, or the feel. Like it feels like it's inspired by the Wonder Years, right? Just kind of like the The Rock kind of narrating it off screen, right? It's just his voice. And then 2, Malcolm in the Middle. It just kind of had those vibes, right? Where it was like there's a lot of flashbacks and breaking the fourth wall. So that's what I felt watching the episode, and I actually didn't mind it. I thought it was an interesting structure, as opposed to, they like right out of the gates, they introduce you to The Rock. You're like, hey, this is the guy that you all know and love, and now he's recapping his life. So I actually liked the structure of the show. Some of the execution, not so good, but I also think it's the first episode, and hopefully they're getting somewhere. And it's also like it's network TV, like they can't like if this were.
And I think we mentioned this before. I think we have talked about this before about like how I kind of wish this show would have been on like an HBO or Showtime, or even like a Netflix.
Yeah.
So that it could have been a little bit grittier. Like I'm sure if they weren't on network television, the scene with Rocky Johnson and the boys probably would have been a little bit like dirtier.
Yep.
I think we could have I think The Rock could have talked a little bit more about probably some of the bad things that he did when he was a teenager. Also, the shoplifting scene was absurd.
It didn't.
My guy just is like casually walking
out
around stuffing shit in his backpack, and then just grabs a pair of sneakers off the freaking, what is that, like a stanchion?
Yeah, how did he know those were his size?
Those could have been the fuck out.
Those could have been like 2 sizes too small. I will say though, that jacket that he rocked to school, the Woody Woodpecker jacket, fire.
Oh yeah,
so goddamn clean.
The fit was fire. It's just like I was just like, that was the weirdest shoplifting scene I've ever seen in my life. Also, the kid that plays high school Rock has to be at least like 27.
Yeah, you could. Well, I think they kind of joked about that, right? Where they were like, everyone thinks you're a cop or something like that.
Yeah. Oh, they think you're Johnny Depp from 21 Jump Street.
Yeah, exactly.
That was a good joke.
That was it. Yeah, that was good. So it had its moments. So from there, then we go to. Oh, there's also the scene where he's trying to impress that girl, and he buys a car for $100 from what appears to be a crackhead. That's a real sentence, by the way. I'm not making that up.
with a homeless man in the back.
Two homeless guys, one in the back seat and one in the trunk. This is this true? I'm trying to remember if this part of his life is true, that he bought a car for $100 and there are actually 2. Oh, you know what? This story is true, but it came later in his life, so they just moved it to this, I think, for TV. Because I do remember him. I saw a video recently where he was talking about his days in OVW before he came to WWE. He was staying with I can't remember the guy's name now, the wrestler's name. It was a friend of his dad's, and he helped him buy a car, super cheap car, and he bought it from a crack addict. Or like a drug addict, and there was someone like they were driving the car and someone like popped in, like someone popped up from the back seat. So it was,
Yeah.
they just took that story. I was wondering why it sounded so familiar. And it's because I recently just watched this video of The Rock gifting the guy who bought him this car, like a new car. All right. So now it all makes sense. It's still weird. It's still
and the guy dies and he calls.
Yeah, he leaves the scene.
It's just so like doesn't wipe down his fingerprints or anything. It's like my guy is wanted for murder right now.
Right, like, and you lied. You didn't say it was you. Oh man, it was a weird look. But from there, we hop over to his days at the University of Miami, and I didn't quite understand the Wheaties thing with his dad. That part was a little convoluted to me, but you know, and that's kind of the episode. It's just it ends with his time at the University of Miami, and you know,
again, the guy that plays him in Miami looks like he's 35.
Yeah,
I mean, it's just this is a weird show, and I mean that in kind of a good way. Like it's weird. I kind of hope for it, kind of expanding on things going forward. He kind of caught me off guard with the way it was formatted, with the way that The Rock was telling the story, and essentially it's just all flashbacks. Like that was a little funky to me. I've said that I told you this in like our one-on-one chats, like in our text messages and all that. Like it was a struggle for me to get through because I'm just not a fan of these kind of shows, but I'm going to continue to give it a shot just because it's The Rock. And I want to continue to like
support.
I want to see what Vince is like a young Vince. I want to know what that's like.
I think we've seen the pictures. I've seen the pictures of who they cast as Vince on Twitter. It's kind of comical, but it's after seeing Andre and Sheik, I was like, oh, that's Vince definitely wasn't the worst casting.
Well, like and then they have Macho too, and
right.
Macho looked like Damian Sandow. When I saw the image, I was like, wait,
it might be.
So
we'll see. All right.
I mean, for my first impressions, I mean, it's not the greatest show in the world. It's not even like the best Rock series in the world. Like Ballers, the first season of Ballers was dope.
Yes,
I love the first season of Ballers,
Same.
and then it fell off a cliff. So, we'll see how this one goes. It's just for it being on NBC. It's gonna be tough for this to actually get over. Because of the limitations that they can do on network television. I think this would have been, like I said before, I think this would have been way better suited on an HBO, on a Showtime, on a Netflix, something where they can have a little bit more leeway when it comes to telling a grittier story. Because I think there's a lot of elements here that could be told in a more gritty fashion and a little bit more honestly.
No, I agree with you. I think they're absolutely trying to structure this as a family show, right?
Mm-hmm.
And NBC is not going to I don't think the show's getting canceled, no matter how bad it may get. Can you imagine being the NBC exec who's like, you know what show we're going to cancel? The one with The Rock in it, the biggest movie star in the world. So they have some leeway, right? They have some leeway for it to not be good, but they just have to make sure it gets good. Because every show struggles kind of in the beginning. But okay, let's jump into the best part of the show. What was your favorite part? The part that you took away and you're like, all right, this is why I'll come back because this got me.
I think it has to be the 1987 Rock. I know that we kind of shit on the shoplifting scene, but I actually thought, even though he looks a lot older than he actually than what he's playing, I thought the kid that is playing Teenage Rock did it really well. I thought he had some charisma there. I love the back and forth that he had with Gabe. It felt more like a teen drama there, in trying to just kind of find your place in the world.
Yeah.
Like the fact that he calls himself Tomas to a girl, that's because he wants to impress this girl. Like that's an interesting story to tell. Like, I think there's just those awkward stages there that you don't normally get from if you're looking at like college age Rock who's starring at the U and young Rock, like this is like he's still trying to figure out who he is. So I thought there's a lot of potential there to be really interesting. So for me, it was all the segments in 1987 with High School Rock.
Yeah, I think mine was actually the same. And it's because kind of going between that and the narration. Again, that's where it gave me those vibes of like Wonder Years or like Malcolm in the Middle.
Yeah.
It's just kind of like adolescence and reflecting on it. So, that was cool. I also enjoyed Randall Park. I enjoy Randall Park's work. I think he's funny. And obviously
He is great.
he's in two of the best shows on TV right now. I tried to get through that without laughing. He's in WandaVision and the show.
He's in the best show on TV right now.
Yeah. And the second best one, depending on how you look at it. You can rank those however you want. But no, those are the best parts of the show for me. All right, this is the one I've teed up for you. The worst part of the show, the part that you hated the most. And I know you have
the 2020 segment. It is the worst part of the show by far. I know that we just said like Randall Park is great, but like The Rock is terrible. The Rock is very uncomfortable to watch. It just seems like he is obviously he's reading lines, but like it seems like he's reading a prompter right in front of him, and nothing comes off as genuine. He's trying really hard to come off as like this.
Isn't that the point though? Isn't he trying to be a presidential candidate, trying to come off, your neighbor who you want to vote for, and he's very structured, trying to.
Yeah, I guess, but like it's just not.
Isn't that like even deeper method acting where you got to be like he's getting into it, he's getting into the weeds. You know what I mean?
Come on, man! Don't give The Rock that much credit.
I'm going to give him all the credit in the world. What are you talking about? It was really uncomfortable and kind of cringy to watch throughout that. And I see what you're saying. Like he is trying to play that presidential candidate, but I think just Rock being himself could play that role and it'd be fine. But it just comes across as like he's pandering to people that like, I don't know. It's just, for me, it was not an enjoyable experience to watch that. I thought once they shifted away from him and they got into the kid playing young Rock and even the teenage Rock, I thought those were the better aspects of the show than The Rock trying to be a presidential candidate. It just felt really forced as a way to like get him kind of in the show. Sure. Do you think that, I mean, make a prediction. Obviously you don't know, but obviously for episode 1, they had to find a way to get real Rock in there. They had to get real Dwayne Johnson, right? For the ratings grab.
Yeah.
Do you think episode 2 and moving forward, they just focus in on young Rock and they kind of leave the Dwayne Johnson moments for kind of big episodes like the season finale?
Yeah. I would say like the level the amount that he's in the show is going to drop significantly. I think if he's in these subsequent shows, like it's in for like 30 seconds,
quick hitter,
just to like
it's quick hitter,
introduce a time frame, and it's not going to be like where we get like a back and forth with him and Randall Park. Like I think it's going to be like him as a voiceover, maybe a quick shot of him. I bet you he shot all of his scenes in a day.
Right. Got in and out. Yeah.
Like they probably had him and Randall Park for a day. They're like, look, we're going to film as much as we can and we'll split it up throughout the series. And then you can go about your business.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
I'm sure he's in maybe like 30 seconds. So
the rest of the series. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
The worst part of the show for me, it has to be Andre. I couldn't get over the Andre the Giant, the guy playing Andre the Giant. Again, the accent just off the bat, I was like, what is that? That sounds horrible. And the scene where he like walks into the Rock's classroom in full gear, like you can't, it's just creepy to me. Like you can't walk into a children's classroom with that that little clothing on. You get arrested.
It was the 70s, man.
Well, still not cool.
I mean, the guy that plays Andre, his name is Matthew Willig. He's like a well-known character actor. He actually played in the NFL for 14 seasons.
14?
He played for 6 teams: the Jets, the Falcons, the Packers, the Rams, the Niners, and the Panthers. He went to 2 Super Bowls and he won one.
Wow. I got it. Maybe I should shut my mouth.
But he's been in a handful of movies as like these bit characters. where he's in it for like a hot second.
That's strange. All right.
He's in Birds of Prey. He plays Happy in Birds of Prey.
Wow.
Yeah. He gets the shit kicked out of him. But yeah, he's in Birds of Prey. He's in Charmed.
I just need to stop hating. Screw it.
Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. Like he plays all these like random bit characters.
So he's like a working actor. He's
he's in Brooklyn Nine-Nine.
Oh, all right, man. I gotta show some respect. I'll take that back. He's not.
I did not know though that he was a Super Bowl winning.
Was he a D lineman? Oh,
let's see. He was an offensive tackle.
Oh wow! Yeah. Look at this guy. All right, respect to you, Andre the Giant.
Who did he win his Super Bowl with? I need to know. Sorry, this is great.
It's fascinating. No, it's fascinating to know that the one person I hated the most is actually a very successful human being.
Yeah, he won the Super Bowl with the Rams, and he was on the Panthers team that lost to the Patriots.
Oh wow! So he's been going at it. Look at this guy.
Yeah, and he was like, he's been in a shit ton of stuff here. Bench warmers.
He's got a great agent. Then his agent is out there hustling, trying to get him work. I like that. All right. Let's get out of here on this, on the special Young Rock edition of the Rock and Talk Connection. So there was obviously big shoes to fill for all the actors cast to play The Rock. Considering that, who would you have play you in a TV show recapping your life? You have the pick of all of Hollywood. You're recapping your life. Who do you got?
That's a tough question. Do I want to go with somebody that is incredibly handsome just to make myself feel good? Or do I want to go with somebody that might look a little bit more Jason Sudeikis?
Oh, Sudeikis is a good one. I like that for you. So you guys, if you had longer hair, you might look like you could be Sudeikis' doppelganger. So,
yeah, I'll take Jason Sudeikis.
Wow, that's good. That's actually really good.
He's got a great career.
Oh, elite career. Elite career. Wow.
Ted Lasso is an incredible show.
Yeah. Wow. That's a good pick by you. I don't even want to offer any other options because I think that's the best one. And you have for a while he was rocking a stash, which is very similar to the facial hair action that you got going on now. So, okay.
So when I was in college, a group of my friends used to say that I look like Jay Baruchel, and I just never saw it. Do you know who Jay Baruchel is?
No. Who's that?
He's the guy from This Is the End and She's Out of My League.
Oh, that guy. No, I don't see it.
Yeah, I was like, I don't see it. And they're like, you look just like. I'm like, no, I don't.
No, I don't see that. He's from Knocked Up and stuff too. Yeah. No.
Yeah.
No, I think Sudeikis.
I like Sudeikis a little bit more.
I like the Sudeikis one. All right. Well, now I'm scared to go for mine because all right.
Do we have to pick kid actors too?
No, I would just if there was one actor.
Because I was gonna say I would choose it for my young age. I would choose the kid that played Anakin Skywalker in episode 1.
Oh my god, I can't.
That's it. That kid, and then Jason Sudeikis.
It's working. I can't stand that guy. That kid. I'm sure he's a nice person.
No, man, he's terrible. He went to jail.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Hold on, I need to know this now. This is great podcasting, by the way.
I know. Live research. This is what y'all paid for the Patreon. While you're doing that, I think for mine's tough because there's not a whole lot of Filipino actors out there that have kind of hit it big. So I'll go with someone who is definitely more handsome than me and would make me look better than I actually am. I think that the dude from Crazy Rich Asians, the guy with the British accent for some reason,
Henry Golding.
Yeah, I would go with Henry Golding because I would have initially gone with Randall Park, but he's already in the episode. So I just wanted to go. I wanted to pivot.
He is one handsome man. I gotta say that.
He's very good looking. And
he's going to play Snake Eyes in the new G.I. Joe movie.
Yeah. Oh,
fuck yeah. Also, Mortal Kombat. Off subject, but Jesus Christ.
I'm in.
fuck yeah.
Yeah, that's all I'm gonna
They
say.
had me at Scorpion say, get over here. And I was like, fucking there.
Well,
Like,
I think they could. You knew they were gonna drop it at some point, and the
They have
fact that
to.
they waited till the end, you're like, here it is.
though I will say the fact that they didn't use the classic like Mortal Kombat music at the end.
It was
pissed me off.
weird. It was a choice, but
Like, you just need that.
Right.
I need it.
It's so classic. All right, everyone, there it is. The recap of episode 1 of what's going to be a legendary show. I'm just gonna put it out there right now. I'm willing it into existence.
If
Young
this thing
Rock.
wins like if this thing gets really good and wins like multiple Emmys, I'll get a tattoo of The Rock. I swear to God.
Oh, sweet Jesus. Actually, okay. This
This is
now-
gonna live on the internet. So
this
if
is
this
not-
shit happens, like you can hold me to it.
Oh, absolutely. Your wife is going to be so.
I'll get a
pissed.
tattoo of The Rock wearing his black turtleneck and chain and fanny pack.
in. All right, I'm holding you. It's recorded. I can't do anything about this now. You did this to yourself. So
That's how much I believe that this show is trash.
there it is, everyone. Your season 1, episode 1 recap of Young Rock. We
I would say, sorry, I'm cutting you in here. This show is like the equivalent of like The Rock feuding with Billy Gunn,
oh my,
which is right around the time frame that we've been talking about.
right. So we're just trying to connect it. So look, moving forward, we won't take full episodes to recap Young Rock. It'll be a segment involved because it's very similar to what we're doing. Young Rock is recapping The Rock's life. We're recapping The Rock's WWE career. So they go hand in hand. So it'll convert after this episode to just a segment. But we want to have some fun today and kind of change it up. And no time like the present after a little Young Rock debut. All right, everyone. Thank you again so much for subscribing to the Rock and Talk Connection and to Fight Game Media. Tell a friend about us. Tell a friend to subscribe. We've got so many great shows on the network, and we'd love to have you come join us. In the meantime, we'll catch you next week. And if there's another show out there that recaps The Rock's career or The Young Rock on NBC, it doesn't matter what that podcast is called. All right, everyone. We'll talk to you soon. Peace.
Later.